Hello and welcome to my scope. My name is DavidSWinston and I'm dedicated to helping you become better. Hope you're having a great day today. Happy Wednesday. Flip this around. Hey, happy Wednesday. There you are. Hope you're having a great week. Thanks for logging on to the scope with us. All right. Set you up right there. Cool. Fix you a little bit. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Things are well, because I'm good. How are you? Hey, Robert. I'm good because things are warming up here, because, man, it was like 0 degrees for a while, and that's not cool. Yeah, so I hope you guys are good. I hope you've been good, Robert. I appreciate you guys joining the scope. I want you to invite your people out. I'm going to be talking about something I posted on Instagram this morning. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent, and no one can make you feel worthless without your agreement. And so, game-winning free throws last night. Congratulations, Devin. That's awesome. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Thanks, Robert, for letting us know that it's 70 degrees in California. We appreciate that. Those of us who are in the Midwest, it was cold out here. Yeah, this cold weather is just not what it is. But let me get on into my topic. These are really good, by the way. I know this is random. These are really good. These breakfast smoothies. I don't know if you've ever tried these Bold House Farms smoothies, but really good. Check them out. So I want to talk to you a little bit about just something that's really close to my heart. And I don't know if I've talked about this yet before on Periscope, but I really felt like I was supposed to today, because I really have some strong feelings about feeling inferior and about worthlessness. Let me tell you that the way our culture is set up, the way our world is set up with social media and everything, social media is great. And I'm on social media networks, Facebook, Twitter. Obviously, we're here on Periscope. And thank you for the hearts. And I want to encourage you to, if you're on any scope and you have the ability, make sure to give some hearts to let the scoper know that you really enjoy their content. And this is actually going to feed into what I'm about to say next, because it's really easy to really just get discouraged, I think, out here nowadays, because it's so easy to see other people and what they're doing, especially those who seem like they're having some level of success, and compare yourself to them. And it's so easy to feel like you don't have an influence, you don't have a voice, you don't have something to say, or what you have to say is not valid, or what you have to say is not getting liked, or what you have to say is not getting reposted or retweeted. And because of that, it doesn't hold value, it doesn't hold weight, it didn't mean anything to anybody. And it's so easy to start comparing yourselves to others, and it makes you feel like your value is less. It makes you feel like you're not worth as much. It makes you feel like maybe your gift or what you have to say isn't as deep. Boom, isn't as inspiring, isn't as revelatory, isn't as noteworthy. And I'm here to tell you, man, that stuff is all a lie. It's all a smokescreen to try to get you to bury your gift, to try to bury your value. And I know, man, I've lived it. I came from a place of low self-esteem, low self-worth, and I've dealt with it, like, seriously. And I never came to the place where I had a plan of suicide, but I've been to that place where it was in the neighborhood. It was down the street. And I can understand how when you see other people succeeding, you see other people doing what you really feel like you want to do, and you feel like you just can't get to the place that they've gotten to. And I want to encourage you that you can never feel worthless without an agreement. No one can ever make you feel worthless without an agreement. And whatever people do or don't do, that can't make you feel worthless unless you agree with that thing. Eleanor Roosevelt said it first. She said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And let me tell you, social media is great, but you cannot find your value in social media. You cannot find who you are in social media. You cannot find your self-worth in social media, because if you do, what happens when the like stops, when the heart stop? What happens happens when the retweets stop? What happens when the repost stops? What happens when the comments stop? What happens when they stop saying anything? What happens when they stop accepting you? Then we're really looking at a true meltdown and self-destruction of your self-proclaimed self-worth and your self-proclaimed feeling of self-esteem. And I think self-esteem is great. Don't get me wrong. I want people to have high self-esteem. But let me tell you, knowing who I am and knowing that I'm valued by God is better for me than having just high self-esteem. Because high self-esteem, is good, but self-esteem can sometimes be fluid. Sometimes if you're just having a bad week, it can make you rethink, well, am I at the wrong job? Am I with the wrong person? Have I married the wrong person? And let me tell you, there could be a lot of pressure there in life sometimes to feel inferior, to feel worthless. There's so many pressures that I've had to go through, and I'm just being transparent to you all. There's so many pressures that you have to go through, especially when you're growing up in ministry and you're growing up as the son or daughter or sibling of somebody who's well known, who's influential, especially in ministry, somebody who's made a name, and the pressure, you have no idea sometimes the pressure that tries to come on you, that tries to make you feel like you won't live up to everyone else's standards and you won't be able to carry the name like a father or mother that you had who was well known. And that pressure comes, and then you get married, and then there's a pressure that comes with trying to be a good spouse, a good husband, a good wife. There's a pressure that comes with trying to be a good father and a good mother. There's a pressure that comes with trying to perform well in the job and leading people. I have a great respect, even if I don't agree with their message, even if I don't agree with their method or strategy. I have a great respect for every entertainer, every sports player, everybody who's in high leadership in a very visible position, everybody who is massively influencing and reaching a lot of people or is on a stage that is very big. I admire everybody like that because it takes courage. And sometimes I know we can try to down some of these people, and I won't call out any names, but we can try to down some of these people because of who they are, what they do, or what they say in the tabloids. Let me tell you, there is not a weak person that exists in the industry of Hollywood. You cannot be weak existing in that space. I'm not saying that I agree with everybody and what they're doing, but you cannot exist in that space being weak. You cannot ascend to a place of success being a weak-minded person. Those people who are artists, entertainers, sports people, those are strong people. And they've had to come to a place where they've had to accept who they are and distance themselves from those who are trying to feed in garbage and negativity. And my journey has really taught me one thing. It's taught me the power of encouraging others, because we all need encouragement. Sometimes I just jump on other people's scopes and just give hearts and encouragement, because you never know what your encouraging word might do for them that day. You never know what your kind words might do for them. You never know if they're feeling like giving up, if they're feeling like quitting. You never know what kind of battles people are dealing with, what kind of demons people are dealing with. You never know what is happening when they go home and they're staring at themselves in the mirror and they don't like themselves. They don't like what they see. They don't like what they feel. They don't like how people respond to them. They don't like what they are seeing on social media and how people are or are not responding or commenting to them. You don't know the struggles of people. And so I have made it my business, because God has brought me from a place of having low self-worth, having low self-esteem, and not because I didn't have good parents. I had great parents and I had a great Christian upbringing, but that had nothing to do with truly how I saw myself. And until I truly accepted myself and my gift and who I was and who God has made me and why I was placed on this earth, then I understood the value of me. And then when I understood the value of me and valued me, then I could give value to others. And so I love encouraging others, but it's hard to encourage others when you yourself are not encouraged. It's hard to encourage others when you're sitting at a place of down, I'm out. And let me tell you, there can be a lot of pressures in life. And I've dealt with them. In ministry, there's a lot of pressure that comes, and, there's a lot of comparison that happens in ministry. And I know, we like to say, hey, we all love God and it's great. And, we're on the same team. We're trying to reach the world. Yeah, amen. But let me tell you, that's not always how it is. Sometimes ministry can be a place of loneliness. It can be a place of desperation. It can be a place of jealousy. It can be a place of contention. It can be a place of strife because you got other people looking at you and you feel like you're on the same team. You thought you were on the same team, but then they're trying to knock you off. They're trying to discredit you. They're trying to discredit your message. They're trying to discredit your family. They're trying to discredit what you're doing. And then you got to block all that out. Then on top of that, then you watch all other people succeed and you're saying, God, why haven't you done that for me? And there's a temptation to compare yourselves with other people. And let me tell you, the Bible even talks about it. It's dangerous to compare yourselves with yourselves. And I came to the understanding. You ready for the revelation? I came to the understanding that God, I'm okay with this life if you've only called me and put me on this earth to reach 5 million people. And that sounds like a lot of people. It is. I'm okay if you've placed me on this earth to reach 500,000 people. I'm okay if you've called me and placed me on this earth to reach 50,000 people. And you know what? I'm okay if you've called me and put me on this earth only to reach 500 people. I'm okay with that. Because God doesn't measure our success by the level of influence we have. God measures our success by the amount of us being obedient or the fulfillment of us being obedient to who he has called us to be and what he has called us to do. And so as long as I've been on this earth doing what I've been asked to do and being who I've been asked to be, then I know that God is going to say, well done, good and faithful servant. You are accepted. You are loved. You are doing exactly what I've called you to do. And therefore I am pleased. And therefore I can call you successful. But let me tell you, there is no one else who has given you your purpose and has given you your destiny. That was defined by God. And when God saw the earth was fit for your gift, for your skill, for whatever it is that you have, your purpose, your destiny, he saw that the earth was ready. It was crying out. It was time for you to be born. He went and made a plan and made a way. I hope you never think that you got here by accident or you were a mistake. That is one of the biggest lies that has ever been told, that you were a mistake. God ordained you to be on this planet. And as a matter of fact, he had enough foresight to know that the planet was crying out, that mankind and humanity was so ready for your gift that it couldn't wait any longer. So he ordained that moment for you to be born, and not to be born without a gift, to be void of purpose. He ordained you to be born for this moment so you can go and serve mankind with your gift. And let me tell you, the reason why the world is the way it is right now, you say, if God is so good, well, why is he letting all this stuff happen? My question is, why have people abandoned their purpose? That's my question. Because God works through people. He doesn't just do whatever he feels on the earth. He works through people. Adam was placed in the Garden of Eden on earth so he can work through him to establish his kingdom here on this earth. So God needs people. He's not out here just a random rogue God just doing everything. So let me tell you, people are needed to say yes to God and then to work in their plan, purpose, and assignment to be able to help mankind for the benefit of mankind. So you look at things like world hunger. You look at things like the poor. Let me tell you something about the poor. God in the Bible talks about over and over how the church is supposed to be the number one forerunners for helping the poor. But why hasn't that happened? Because sometimes we're more focused on how people agree with us on social media, how many likes we got, how many hearts we got, how deep this stuff is, how many people have invited me to speak at their church. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about if you know my name. I don't care about the number of these hearts. I don't care about the social media thing. The reason why I'm on here, and let me tell you, be clear, and hey, this is alert. If you don't believe in God, tune off now. The reason I am here is because God told me what to say before I scoped. And the reason why I got on Periscope and the reason I do what I do is because God has told me exactly what to do so that I can encourage you at this moment, at this time, in this dispensation, so that you could be encouraged to do exactly what it is that God has for you. Hey there. How you doing? Bless you. So that's me. That's who I am. I've come through and I've learned a lot, but I've learned that I am not my father. And I say that with all respect. I love him. I care for him. I respect a lot that he's done. And he's been a great dad and a great mentor, but I'm not him. And so I won't make a real good Bill Winston, but I can make a great David Winston. I don't know who you are, or where you come from. I don't know what you've been exposed to, what your past experiences are. But you make a lousy David, but you make a real good you. You can't walk in the shoes that I walk. You're not graced to do it. Doesn't mean I'm better than you, means that we're different. I'm not graced to walk in the shoes that you're walking in. So if you're feeling frustration in life, you might want to go back and check yourself and see, am I walking in my own shoes? Or are these shoes several sizes too big because I'm trying to walk in somebody else's shoes? I'm trying to do what somebody else did. I'm trying to look like somebody else looks. And let me tell you, I know there's a lot of pressure, and social media doesn't help. I mean, it makes you look like you are out of style, you're not fit, you don't have it going on, and your hair is whack. I mean, sometimes that's what social media is good for, letting you know everything that you don't have going on. But let me tell you, I'm here to tell you that God made you exactly the way He made you, on purpose, for a purpose, and He made you the way He made you to glorify Him. And that is the biggest thing that you can ever remember. When you dismiss how God has made you to look, to act, to relate to people, when you dismiss it, you are directly insulting the purposeful creation of God. It's a direct insult to Him. And He's a good God. It's not like He's taking great offense or He's losing sleep about it. But I'm here to tell you, there was a purpose in why you were made. I used to think, like, maybe I'm too light-skinned. My skin is just light bright, especially when I get in the winter. I need to get in the sun. I need to get tan. But I started to learn that God made me the way He made me on purpose. There was a purpose for it. Maybe my side part isn't parted enough. Maybe my skinny jeans aren't skinny enough. Maybe, this, maybe that. Maybe I'm not fit enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't speak well enough. I don't do things as well as other people. Maybe I'm not funny enough. Maybe people aren't interested in this scope and they don't care what I have to say. But let me tell you, self-worth comes when you abandon all that and you start to understand that God made you exactly the way He made you, on purpose, for His glory. Not for your glory, for His glory. Not so you can be spread all throughout social media. I mean, that's fine, not dissing that, but it's for His glory. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. You got to know who you are. There's something that's called the RAS. I think the reticular something system. It's RAS, reticular something system. And it's actually one of the reasons, and it's in your brain, and it's actually one of the reasons why. Have you ever wanted a new car? And you want a new car, you go test drive that car, you really like that car. Let's call it, let's call it Cadillac Escalade. You really like it. They came out with a new model. And then all of a sudden you go driving and go throughout your week and you start seeing them all over. You start seeing them all over the street. They parked in your neighbor's house. You're like, I never knew that y'all had a Cadillac Escalade, and I see them all over. I didn't know this car was so popular. Well, that's that RAS system that is in your brain. And so that RAS system that's in your brain, I'm slipping here, hold on. That RAS system that is in your brain, it's so powerful that it will help you identify those things consciously that you didn't see before, but your subconscious noticed, because now they're brought to the forefront of your brain. So let me tell you why this is so important. Because scientists have predicted over 70,000 thoughts a day. They say about 50,000 of them are just repeat thoughts that you've had before, and they're just being cycled over and over again. And so if you have the thought that you are worthless and that you are inferior, your brain is so powerful that it will start to block out the things in your life that would start to declare to you that you do have worth and you do have value. And it will start to let in, like a flood, all the things that confirm that belief that I am worthless and I am inferior. Have you ever met somebody who has a low self-worth and they begin to list the dissertation for you about everything in their life that confirms the low self-worth? Have you ever met somebody with a high self-worth who knows who they are, who does not feel inferior? And they can list all the great things that confirm that they're not inferior and that they have a lot to go for and they have a lot of value. They can write the list. Well, it's not because there's not bad things about that person or challenges that that person goes through. It's all about how your brain starts to interpret from a subconscious level the things that are able to reconfirm to you what your value system is and the way you see yourself. That's why it's so important. And I learned this, guys. It is so important that you understand and know that you have value, you have self-worth, and that you feed that to your consciousness and your subconsciousness often. Sometimes you got to say it. You got to be around people that'll confirm it, people that'll encourage you. You got to listen to it. You got to read it. You got to take that self-worth in. And as you take that self-worth in, it'll start to help dictate your belief system. And now your mind and your subconscious, which has no moral, your subconscious has no filter, it will start to position you to be able to see all the things in your life that confirm your self-worth. It is amazing how your brain can now focus on those things that it didn't see before to now see now to confirm what you already believed. I like this Cadillac Escalade. I really want to get it. And now all of a sudden, my brain is triggered in a way that now I notice all the Cadillac Escalades driving all over the road that I didn't notice before. Doesn't mean that they weren't there. It just means that I wasn't aware of them and I didn't pay attention to them. And so it's very important. And I just adjust my crown and remember whose daughter I am. That's right. It's very important. Oh, my stand keeps falling. Sorry, guys. It's very, very important that you understand your self-worth. It's important that you understand to get a good stand that's not going to fall. It's important to understand that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. No one can make you feel worthless without your agreement. And so I want to let you know that I really appreciate you guys on this scope. If you missed the scope, go back and replay it. Please go back and replay it. I really believe that it will encourage you. It will help you. I have grown through many seasons. And I'm not that old, but I came from a place of I had good bringing, good people around me, good parents. But it's still, at the end of the day, it matters about what you think about you. It mattered what I thought about me. And because I had suffered some challenges and some setbacks, I got you, Tiffany. I'll save it. I'll save this video. Because I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a surgeon, a cardiologist. And because I didn't do that well on the MCAT, which is the medical school entrance exam, and I wasn't get accepted into medical school, it could have caused me to think that now I'm just not smart enough, I'm not good enough, people won't listen to me, people won't, they're not even letting me in. I mean, suffering that rejection sometimes can be so damaging that it'll make you not want to try. And the damage with not wanting to try and the danger with not wanting to try is then when you get to the thing that God has really called you to do and the thing that you're really placed on this earth to do, you won't have enough courage to step up and say yes and do it. I love the video that Steve Harvey just put out recently, and you're welcome for being real. I love the video that Steve Harvey put out recently. He was at Family Feud. They just finished the taping, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. It had like 50 million views on Facebook. It's kind of circulating, but if you go to his Twitter, you'll see it. But he talked about it. He talked about you're just going to have to jump in this life. If you want to be successful, you're going to just have to jump, and you're going to have to just take that chance. And you know what? There might be some danger involved. You might feel like this isn't secure. People are going to reject me, and I've been there. I have to be on a platform every Wednesday with teenagers, with dozens and sometimes hundreds of teenagers looking at me. And let me tell you, teenagers sometimes aren't always the nicest. They'll be brutally real, brutally honest. Like, what kind of genes are those? What kind of, you call that dancing? You can't dab, you can't bop. And so, sometimes they can be brutally honest. And if you don't know who you are and you're not strong enough to hold up under the weight of what your purpose and what your calling requires, then sometimes it could be hard. It could feel like you're alone. It could feel like this is torture. Like, how can I do what I want to do, but yet feel like it's torture? It's almost like a bittersweet thing. Like I'm in where I want to be in, but I'm not getting the results that I want to get. And I really believe that God has the best things in store for you, and he has a plan in store for you. Don't give up. And let me let you know that just because your gift doesn't look like someone else's gift doesn't mean it's not a gift. It's still a gift. And as a gift, it's a present. So give it to somebody. Present it to somebody. Let somebody see it. Let somebody know about it. Who cares if they validate your gift or not? Doesn't matter. Whatever you've been placed on this earth to do it and dominate it. Because you can do it. And that's what you're placed on this earth to do. That's what you're gifted to do. I mean, there's a weight sometimes that comes with being influential. There's a weight that comes with being able to speak and be an influence to millions of people, because you have to be gifted and graced to be able to stand up to the comments, stand up to the haters, stand up to the naysayers, stand up to the liars, even stand under the weight of all the accolades, to be able to have such a strength within yourself to know that you can remain humble and that God will continue to get the glory, and you'll know that it's not about you. Let me tell you, there's a weight of success. It comes from the hater side, and it also comes from the accolade side, that you can start to be disillusioned in understanding that, hey, you know, this is about me. I'm so cool. I got the swag. They digging what I'm saying. They digging what I'm doing. I can act. I can dance. I can sing. I can rap. Boo bop ba bat bat bat. But it's not about that. It's just about being on earth to do what God has graced you to do. And we didn't self-assign ourselves. We didn't give ourselves this gift. We didn't go into the supermarket before we were born and say, okay, I want to pick out that, and I want good hair, and I want to be able to sing. Oh, I want to be able to act a little bit, but I really want to be good at motivating people. No, nobody self-assigned themselves. So how can anybody take credit for the gift that God has given them? It wasn't even their choice. They were born with this. It wasn't my choice to be born into my family. It wasn't my choice to be born the way I am. But if I am the way I am, then I want to know how I am meant to operate so I can do what it was I was called to do. And so I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the hearts. I appreciate all the comments. I'm done. That's my heart. And I can encourage people because God has encouraged me. And he's brought me a long way from being not sure of myself, not knowing where I'm going, to be absolutely sure of myself and getting my value and self-worth from God first and foremost, and then surrounding myself with other great people that will be able to help me, that will be able to push me, that will be able to encourage me. Not that they don't tell me the truth. I mean, they'll tell me the truth, but yet they'll still be there to encourage me. So thank you so much. Thank you guys for all the comments. I see it, and you're welcome. And I'll take a couple questions. I got just a few moments. I'll take a couple questions. If you guys got questions, I really feel like my transparency helps somebody else be transparent with themselves. Sometimes the first person that we have to be honest with is us. And we just have to take a long look in the mirror and say, okay, who are you really? Thank you. That has truly blessed me. God used me. God used you to bless me, and your title stood out to me. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you found this scope, and thank you so much for logging on. If you don't follow already, my name is DavidSWinston. I love encouraging people. I am a pastor. I am a minister. But I love encouraging people to just become the best version of them. I'm glad I always help you stay encouraged. Thank you. I'm glad that you were encouraged. Please go ahead and share this to someone with someone else. Where can we find this afterwards? Well, you can find this on Periscope for about 24 hours. Maybe I'll try to find a place where I can put it. Maybe I'll put it on our YouTube channel or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll find somewhere to put it, somewhere to house it. I do have a catch.me account, katch.me, katch.me, and then /DavidSWinston. And so if you go to my catch.me account, you'll be able to see all of my scopes, and they won't expire. So I'm a youth pastor myself, and it has truly blessed me. Great. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm glad that it blessed you. I do this to help you. I do this to encourage you. I do this to bless you. This is not for my own accord. This is not for my own accolades. I mean, hearts are nice. The comments are great. I really receive them. katch.me. K with a K. K like kids. And so So I appreciate it. And, whenever I go to speak somewhere else that's outside of my own home church, my own youth ministry, I always let them know first and foremost, it's not about me. I don't care if you remember who I am or what I was. You can just say, hey, it's that light-skinned dude that some say look like Drake. That's all I care about. Yes, that's the right link. But all I care about is you getting what you needed to get, and God meeting you where you were, and you being inspired and encouraged to reach your destiny. That's all I care about. And so, I really appreciate all the love. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging on. For those of you all who've been on for about 30 minutes or so. So thank you for staying with me. And if you didn't get all of the scope, please go back. And replay the scope and give some hearts if I'm talking to you, if I'm saying something that really resonates with you, and share this with somebody else. You never know what people are going through. You never know if people are committing people, well, that too, but if people are thinking about suicide and contemplating it. I mean, there was a situation that we had earlier this week involving our oldest son and another kid, and the kid has really been having some issues, and these kids nowadays, suicide sometimes is not far off for them, and sometimes all it takes is just in a bad moment, just one more bad thing to push people over the edge. And you never know what your encouragement, when you're stopping and listening, you're saying something to bless somebody else, encourage somebody else. You never know what that can do for a person and what kind of impact that has in somebody's life. And so I'm here to tell you, I am a believer in encouragement because I've seen the power of it. And we all need to be encouraged. I mean, how many of y'all want to be encouraged? I want to be encouraged, and we all need to be encouraged. And so I don't say all this from a place of brokenness or a place of hurt or pain. God has brought me so far. And so, people ask how I'm doing, and I say I'm living the dream. I couldn't imagine any better. God has blessed us and our families so much. He's blessed me and my wife with 4 awesome kids, and to have to be healthy and whole, and to have a loving marriage and an awesome life, and to live in a beautiful house that God has given us that we shouldn't have gotten, but by the grace of God, He works miracles. He does it. To be able to be trusted with parts of the ministry, to be able to have a voice that you all would call in, look at me, that you all would log in and listen to. That's a blessing, and I count those blessings every day, and I say, God, it's for your glory, and you've been so good to me. So I want to let you guys know that God has been the source of my strength. And if you know God or you don't, if you don't know Him, you should get to know Him. My dad says, if I wasn't saved, you know what I'd do? I get saved. And God, He's the strength, He's the encourager. And so thank you, Asia. I really appreciate it, and I'm here to serve. I'm here to bless you guys, to encourage you guys. Thank you so much. Share this with somebody else, please. I believe it will encourage them. I'm going to try to find a landing place for this video, since many of you all seem so impacted. Thank you so much for all the love. Make it a great day, and if you're a teenager and you're in the Chicago area, come visit us at Go Hard for Christ Youth Ministry tonight. And you can go to gohardforchrist.com to get more information. So until we do it again tomorrow, have a great day, and see you later.